Hello, everyone. We are currently on a week-long shoot in Philadelphia, and I wanted to just take a little time to recap some of the comments that we had gotten from the podcast that I did with my wife, Amber. It was I thought, a really good podcast, and we got a lot of feedback and some very personal feedback from a few people, and a couple things challenging me and calling me out on things that could be wrong, and I really appreciate that. There's a few discussion threads on Facebook that I'll generally post these on that the people there will give you some very honest feedback. It's kind of atheist, theist discussion groups and stuff, and I find that there's a lot of strong opinions, some of them very well informed and some of them very emotional, but I do find them very valuable. And some people have responded just with their own personal experience. So I just wanted to share a couple of those and my thoughts and responses to that. So the first one, this is from a very opinionated guy on one of these discussion threads that I appreciate his honesty, and he's very straightforward. He says, "You know what's funny here? You're talking like someone who is kindly trying to show someone that they are wrong without offending them." So I am discussing with my wife our relationship around faith and belief and how we do things. And obviously, my wife and I disagree on belief now at this point, but we're trying to work through that. And so I do have to interact with her and talk with her in a way that is respectful, but I can't lie about it or pretend like, oh yeah, I believe the same as you. There's definitely that degree of trying to talk to someone kindly while disagreeing with them. And I think if you can do that while being honest, let the person know honestly, yeah, I disagree with you, but I'm going to respect you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to hide that. So, and I'm trying to not offend them. Second one from the same person. What is curious here is that you are evangelizing atheism. You're calling it truth and you're spreading the word. Definitely did not intend to, or do I intend to evangelize atheism? I am decidedly in the middle of knowing. Like, I have no clue what's going on in the spiritual world, and if there is anything that I can actually believe in there. And I would not evangelize God or atheism at this point. And so if I came across that way, I apologize, and I'll try and be more careful not to come across as evangelizing atheism. I definitely respect people that find atheism to be their conclusion on things, because I can understand that, and I respect people who believe, because I can understand that too. So that's a hard thing, and I don't honestly know what to do with that, but didn't mean to come across as on the atheist side of the road completely. So number three, a certain person replied and said that their experience was similar as if they were one of our kids. They grew up with a father that was an atheist and a mother that was a believer, and it caused this person stress as a child to know that the father didn't believe, but the parents did support each other and are still married after many years. And but this person also did appreciate differing viewpoints looking back on it. What I take from that is, first of all, I don't want to cause my kids stress in thinking like, is dad not going to be in heaven, or does he not believe? And, I definitely don't want to put them through that, but I honestly don't know how to, what am I supposed to do? I genuinely don't think that belief is a choice. And that's kind of hard to explain, but it's just not well, why don't you just believe? Okay, I'll believe, but I don't genuinely believe. I feel like I need to be convinced either through experience, and I'm open to God, I'm open to experiencing God. I need to be convinced, and until I honestly, personally am drawn to that conclusion, I don't want to lie to my children, and because I think they would see through that. So that's a hard thing to know, that it's probably causing my kids personally some stress, and I don't know what to do with that other than try and reassure them that I am genuinely searching and do believe that the search for meaning and the search for purpose and the search for potentially belief in God is a very important thing. So, yeah. And last one. This came from a person who shared very personally about their experience growing up in the church and in a belief system that did not approve of them, but they've been able to come to a place of peace, it seems. And yeah, let me just read it. Hearing about your journey is very interesting to me. I went through a period of questioning in what I had been taught in my Christian faith. I saw that what was being taught was not loving and in fact included myself in their damnations. I identified as gay, or really at the time I saw it as a possibility. I was told in church that with certainty I was going to hell for this thing that I could not change. I prayed almost constantly throughout my middle school and high school years for A, God to take these feelings away, B, to change me into a girl so that these feelings for boys would be normal, or C, that God would take me to heaven so that I would no longer have to be alive and suffer. None of these things happened, so I gave up on God. I was very angry for a few years. I went strictly atheist, but slowly started searching out new ways of spirituality. Buddhism, paganism, and Wiccan were the primary paths that interested me. To keep this short, I will say that I went through a physical experience with God that changed everything. It was a pivot point, but I didn't get back into a Christ-focused view until recently. I had to deconstruct all that baggage that I had been carrying. I had to throw out that which was wrong that did not hold up to my experience of God. And unlike when I was younger, I am always questioning. I live on that line of subjective faith and objective experience because for me, that is the truth of God. We are not meant to be either or. We are meant to be both and. There's so much that I know I still have to learn. I am glad that I found these videos. Good luck on your journey, wherever that leads you. And best of all, God is with us. I really appreciate this person sharing their personal experience. I appreciate the encouragement. And at the same time, this specific type of situation was basically exactly what set me on this path. Not really to be able to directly interact with them and try and help them in some way, but the realization that there are people out there that are being hurt by the beliefs that I held and people like me held, that put them in that point of praying for God to kill them because they don't want to live with that guilt, the shame, the rejection, the ideas of not being good enough. And all of this from a structured belief system that is extremely subjective in its foundations. So to know that I'm at least on the right path, that it's connecting ideologically with helping an understanding with someone like this, but also what set me on this path was to speak to other people like me that held a faith like me, you know, people that are straight Christians that take things literally. My goal is to speak to those people and ask them to be empathetic in what they believe and how it affects other people. I think that's really the crux of the whole thing. So anyways, before this goes too long, I just wanted to recap this from Philadelphia today. I really appreciate the feedback we're getting from people. And if anyone has any questions or comments or compliments or constructive criticism, we'd love to hear it. Thanks a lot and have a great week.